Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It's July 31st, 2024, and Clement Lenglet is close to leaving Barcelona as he is open to make a move to Atletico de Madrid. Also, Barcelona have reportedly made a move or an offer for Joao Cancelo. And finally, Nico Williams. The hope to sign Nico Williams is fading within the club. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through it. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment if you're looking to place any sports bets on Barcelona matches or any sporting events. Make sure you hit to bet us. And if you're looking to buy any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Go Kits, Fanatics, or Kickback. You have plenty of options. Anyways, having said all that, let's dive right in. And I do apologize for that little confusion at the beginning. My camera was showing me that it wasn't picking up any sound, but apparently you guys can hear me. So that's great. So let's dive right into the news because Pep Guardiola has been impressed about what he saw in yesterday's match. Now, as you know, Barcelona defeated Manchester City yesterday through penalty shootout during a friendly match. Really weird. I've never seen a penalty shootout in a friendly match, but whatever. Barcelona drew 2-2 with goals of Pau Victor and Pablo Torre, and as a result of the draw, it went to penalty shootout where Astralaga blocked 2 penalty kicks and where Barcelona scored all of theirs, and as such, Barcelona won. And it seems like Pep Guardiola was very, very impressed with what he saw from Hansi Flick and his team, and this is what the former Barcelona and the current Manchester City coach had to say. Now, I will remove my logo so you can see better, but Pep Guardiola said, I really like them. The season is long, but I like them. The position of play is extraordinary. The wingers play as wingers. The inside players get forward. The fullbacks attack in space. We had problems, of course. Every time they came forward, they scored against us. It's normal. We're very young. So Pep Guardiola very impressed with what Hansi Flick's team did yesterday. And I have to say, I did too. I was very impressed. Now, don't get me wrong. Yesterday's match was a preseason match. It's a friendly match where both teams are trying out different players, different strategies, different positions. Nobody's really taking the match serious, so it's too early to make any conclusions. But I was very, very impressed with yesterday's match, even though Manchester City dominated the entire 90 minutes, or at least 90% of all the 90 minutes. But I still was very impressed with Barcelona. I was impressed with the intensity, how the players were always pressuring, always trying to recover the ball. I was impressed with how compact Barcelona's lines were, leaving very little space in between the lines. I was impressed with how fast the team would go from being compact to expanding on the counterattack. And most importantly, I was very, very, very impressed with how fast Barcelona was able to mount counterattacks. It only would take them 2 or 3 touches, and it would go from having the ball in their goal all the way to having the ball in the opposite goal. And that's exactly what we need. Fast transitions, fast touches, 2-3 touches, boom, you're already in danger zone. That's what we need, and that's what we seriously lacked last season, where the team was just completely lifeless, very slow, sluggish, highly predictable, where they would pass the ball a million times back and forth, side to side, not creating any danger, not causing any surprise to the opposing team. But with this team, or at least what we saw yesterday, that was not the case. 2-3 touches, and they were already in the opposing team's box. So I was very, very impressed with what the team displayed yesterday. Again, it's only a preseason match. It's too early to make any conclusions. But Pep Guardiola also had to say some really great things about Barcelona's youngsters. Now, Pep Guardiola said, I really like the youngsters. Marc Bernal seemed extraordinary to me, how he controls, how he plays. But they all played incredibly. They do things very well. They know when to run. when to press, when to anticipate. I wish them all the best. They are going to have a very good season. They have young players with a lot of talent. They are extraordinary players. It is incredible how talented they are on what they do on the pitch, how easy they do it for their age. It is not a surprise to me because I know perfectly well how well they work with the youth team at the club. So, two things I want to talk about these statements. First of all, Marc Bernal. I forgot to mention him in yesterday's video, but I think Marc Bernal was exquisite in yesterday's match. Now, his inexperience is showing. When you watch Bernal, you can tell he still lacks experience, that he still needs, more time playing with the first team, but you do see a lot of flashes of brilliance, and you see that there's something there. I can now see why Barcelona think that Marc Bernal will be Barcelona's future pivot, because when you watch him play, the way he moves around, the way he reads the field, the way he dribbles with the ball, the way he distributes the ball, there's something there. Yes, he lacks experience, but that's not a problem. That will come with time. But talent is there, and I cannot wait to see what Marc Bernal has to offer. The second thing is what Pep Guardiola said, which is about the youngsters. And I have to say, after yesterday's match, I don't think there can be any doubt in any of us' mind about what an exquisite academy we have. We have one of the best academies in the world. We have incredible, incredible young talent, lots and lots of young talent, lots of players that you can tell that they're on the cusp of becoming great. And I think we cannot take that for granted. I think Barcelona should stop trying to waste their money on these big signings and bringing all these players, and should instead focus on La Masia, build a team around La Masia players, and then sure, bring 2-3 big signings, 2-3 players who are difference makers, the Mbappes of the world, the Haalands of the world, can't think of players right now, but, make 2-3 big signings, but then the rest of the team should be based on La Masia. Because if there's something I got out of yesterday's match, is that we have a lot of young talent to work with and a lot of skills in La Masia. And we should be very, very happy, and we should be very, very proud of that. Now, the last bit of statement I'll share with you is that of Hansi Flick, because the German coach was also happy with what his team did. And this is what Flick had to say. We were really good against a great team. We defended together and attacked together as a team. And that's what we want. We fought for each other. Maybe in the first half, we were too deep. Our idea is to be a bit more forward. We need more possession, but we play against Manchester City. So Hansi Flick happy with what he saw yesterday. He admitted that, they were a little bit too deep during the first half, which is true. Manchester City had us against the ropes for the first 15, 20 minutes of the first half, but you are playing against Manchester City. It's expected you're going to suffer against Manchester City. Plus, we're talking about a team that was full of youngsters. So it was very, very much expected. Manchester City had actually a lot of their stars starting. So I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad that Manchester City had most of the possession for the most of the match. But I have to say, for being the first preseason match, I really like what I saw. It looks like Flick did it as well. And what I like about Flick's statements is that change of discourse from Xavi, where Flick was like talking about more like we played as a team, we defended as a team, we attacked as a team, like talking about this whole more cohesive approach, more cohesive statement to the whole problem. And, admitting what went wrong, but also being proud of what he saw versus just saying, oh, we did great. We deserved to win. It was the sun. It was the refs. It was Real Madrid, No, just saying, look, this is what we did well. This is what we did bad. We fought as a team. We played as a team. We're going to continue working as a team. So a really nice change of discourse. But anyways, still too early in the season. Let's see if that continues on. All right, let's start with the chat section, and then we will talk about Clement Lenglet, who was our captain in yesterday's match. Yes, believe it or not. All right, we do have 2 donations. First of all, Baby Scumbag, thank you so much for your donation, my friend. But he says, why spend 60 million on Olmo if we still need a left winger? Yes, thank you. Why spend 60 million on Olmo, period? I don't get it. What the hell is going on in Barcelona? They want to spend 60 million on an attacking midfielder when we have a million attacking midfielders on the first team ang Barca Athletic, at Taco Manila, up and down the academy. That's the most common profile that Barcelona's academy produces. Why are we spending 60 mil on Dani Olmo? I don't get it. Someone explain it to me. Now they're saying, oh, if Nico Williams is signing fails, then for sure Barcelona will go after Olmo. Why? Please explain to me why. I don't understand. If the sign of Nico Williams falls through, then you should go and try to spend it on another left winger, which is what we desperately need, not on an attacking midfielder. How does that make sense? Oh, my car broke down, so let me go buy a TV. What? But you need a car. Why are you buying a TV? I don't get it. If you guys can explain it to me, please do. This is the dumbest shit that Barcelona is doing, and at this point, I'm not surprised. I'm sick and tired of it. I see it every fucking summer transfer market. I feel like Barcelona at this point, they're just signing just so they can hype people up. Like, look, we brought you a signing. But is it a signing that we need? No. But I brought you a signing. That's okay, right? You're happy? Okay, cool. I don't know what to say. Anyway, Satnam said, I think we can do a swap deal, 40 million for Alvarez and give them Roque. And this is not going to give us Alvarez for Roque and plus 40 mil. No way in hell. All right, let's see what else. Let's do more comments. Thank you for your donations, by the way. Java the Hut says Deco has been a terrible sporting director. He wasn't firm with Nico Williams to come to Barca. He brought Roque to Barca when he knew he was at Barca level. Alemania would have had Williams at Barca already. I don't agree with that statement because the reason why Nico Williams is not at Barca is because he has not received the guarantees that he's been asking for. He wants Barcelona to guarantee him they can register him. Barcelona cannot do that. Barcelona have not closed the Barca Vision deal. Barcelona have not closed the Nike deal. As such, Barcelona are not under the one-to-one rule. And as long as Barcelona are not under the one-to-one rule, they cannot guarantee Nico that they're going to register him. Doesn't matter if Deco's in charge. Doesn't matter if Alemani is in charge. Doesn't matter if whoever's in charge. As long as Barcelona are not there under the one-to-one rule, they cannot register Nico. As long as they cannot register Nico, he's not coming. So I don't think it would have made any difference if Alemani was here because it would have been the same problem because the Nike and the Barca Vision deals are not done. Seven Homani says, Cancelo really impressed me last night, not only because of how great he played, but because of his leadership skills as well. I see him starting the first game of the season. Cancelo was absolutely brilliant in yesterday's match. The way he distributed the ball, the way he dictated the tempo, the way he just controlled the midfield, and the way he did it. He did it with total calmness. What looked like he had been playing in that position for the first team for the last 20 years. The pressure did not get to him. His touches, the way, even the goal, like the first goal with Pau Victor, the way he just touches the ball and gets it perfectly to Pau Victor. I mean, Marc Cancelo was absolutely exquisite. I can see why Hansi Flick has been impressed with him. I can see why Hansi Flick no longer considers signing the center midfield position as a priority because he has Cancelo, and I really hope we'll see more of him. But anyways, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about Clement Lenglet because it's reported that Barcelona are currently in negotiations with Atletico de Madrid for the transfer of the French defender. Now, Clement Lenglet has been a big problem for Barcelona. Barcelona have been trying to get rid of him for several seasons. Of course, the biggest problem is his incredibly high salary. He has a 16 million euro salary. I'm sorry, but Lenglet is not worth 60 million euro salary per season. And as such, it's been very difficult to offload the player. Of course, both loans to Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur, Barcelona had to pay half of his salary because no team in the right mind would agree to pay 60 million for Clement Lenglet. And this summer has been no different. Where, yes, there's been a lot of offers for Lenglet, but most teams cannot afford him. So Barcelona, are not willing to transfer him to him. And the teams who can afford Lenglet are the Saudi teams, which Lenglet doesn't want to go to. So we've been in this vicious cycle where the teams who can afford Lenglet doesn't want, and the teams who Lenglet does want, Barcelona doesn't want because they cannot afford him. But now there is some good news on this front because it's reported that Atletico de Madrid are interested in signing the player. The player, Clement Lenglet, is interested in joining Atletico de Madrid. And as such, both clubs are currently negotiating the transfer of the French defender. Now, it's not going to be a permanent signing. They're talking about a loan because, again, big problem is his salary. Nobody can afford that salary. Thanks a lot, Bartomeu. So, therefore, it's reported that Barcelona are negotiating with Atletico Madrid a loan. We'll see what kind of loan it is. We'll see whether Barcelona will demand a loan fee. And if not, we'll see how much of Lenglet's salary Atletico Madrid will agree to cover. But just know that it's looking like a good possibility that Lenglet will end up at Atletico de Madrid. All right, let's get back to the comment section, and then we will talk about Cancelo. That's why the name popped in my head, because it's actually the next segment. David Blandon says, if Barca wants to lower their wage bill, they should start with every scout they have. You could fire every single scout, and it wouldn't be even 1% of Barcelona's salary bill. Neymar says, Finland in the house. All right, let's go. I love it. Replay Barca says, hey, Mo, watching it from Ghana. It's me, Emmanuel. Great work, Mo. Thank you, my friend, and thank you for tuning in. Zaidi says, hey, Mo, Fabrizone post that Danny almost said yes to Barca move. Talked about that. I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. So it's nice of Fabrizio to catch up. Babe says, Finland in the house. All right, another Finland. I love it. Barian says, hey, Mo, what's poppin', my guy? Ish haven't caught a live in a minute, but honestly speaking, I don't think we'll be signing Nico. I'll talk about Nico in a little bit, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but thank you for your comment. Goji says, guys, latest news is Nico is waiting for Barcelona to get the Barca Vision deal done. That's why he's not announcing his decision yet. We'll talk about Nico in a little bit, but thank you for your comment. And Miko says, hi, Mo, do we sign Nico next season if he decides to stay? No. Barcelona made it very clear to Nico, it's now or never. The Barcelona train just comes once in a lifetime. You either hop on it when it comes, or if you don't, it's gone. So that's what Barcelona made to Nico. Plus, aside from that, if Nico stays, he's going to renew at Atletico Bilbao with a much, much higher salary and with a much, much higher release clause. So if we don't sign him now, even if Barcelona decide that, yes, let's sign him next season, they're not going to be able to afford it. The release clause is going to be way higher. The salary of this player is going to be way higher. So it's now or never for Barcelona. And as Barcelona have communicated to the player, it's now or never. We'll see if that puts pressure on him or whether he ends up staying either way. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news because we do have to talk about Joao Cancelo, because English media outlets are assuring that Barcelona have made an offer for the Portuguese fullback. Now, as I told you before, Barcelona would not mind keeping Joao Cancelo or bringing him back since he is back in Manchester City. However, Barcelona do not consider the signing of Joao Cancelo a priority. The priorities are, of course, Nico Williams and Dani Olmo. And as such, Deco is willing to wait to the final days of the transfer market to see whether Manchester City get desperate, because Manchester City don't want Cancelo. Cancelo doesn't want Manchester City. However, Manchester City are insisting on a permanent transfer of the player worth 25 to 30 million euros. Barcelona cannot afford that. So, as I told you before, they are reportedly willing to wait until the final days of the market to see whether Manchester City get desperate and eventually agree to let Cancelo leave on a loan rather than on a permanent transfer. Where now English media outlets are reporting that Barcelona have supposedly made an offer to Manchester City worth 7 million euros for a loan. So a loan with a 7 million euro loan fee, with an obligation to buy worth 18 million euros. So Barcelona would pay 7 million right now. They would get the player on a loan for a whole season. And then at the end of the season, they will be obligated to buy Cancelo for 18 million euros. Now, this is what the English media are reporting. Me, personally speaking, I have my doubts about this report. Big time. Because if it is coming from England and Manchester City are getting desperate, they want to offload Cancelo because they don't want him, doesn't want them. He's refusing to leave unless it's only to Barca. This could easily be a negotiation tactic. Just announce, hey, Barcelona want this guy. They just offered a bunch of money for him. hey, clubs who want him, come hurry before Barcelona takes him. That would be my sensation. I could be wrong, but that's my feeling because, again, this news is coming from English media outlets. I haven't been able to confirm it from reporters in Spain. Therefore, I would take it with a little bit of grain of salt. I'm not saying it's a lie, but I'm also not saying it's true. I have my doubts. But that's the information. So supposedly, Barcelona made an offer worth 7 million euros for a loan, plus an 18 million euro obligation to buy. Now, another reason I think it's not necessarily true is because Flick prefers a defensive right back. Prefers a right back that can, stay back, defend well. And Cancelo's not that. Cancelo's someone who just attacks, completely leaves his back exposed. He has a lot of defensive gaps. We've seen him time and time again. And that's not something Flick likes on his team. Plus, we know from before that Flick, he doesn't consider Cancelo as a priority. If Barcelona brings them Cancelo, he'll be like, okay, fine, I'll work with him. But if they don't, he's not going to even remember who Cancelo is. But anyways, that's a bit of information. Let's get back to the chat section. And then we will do the last bit of news, which is about Nico Williams. Since all of you want to know what's going on with Nico Williams. Richard says, honestly, I can't blame Nico. We haven't completed what we need to do financially to even ensure he can be registered. At the end, this is our fault in poor planning. We better not panic buy. I agree 100% with you. At the end of the day, there's nobody to blame. Can't blame Deco. Can't blame the player. All we can blame is that we jumped the gun. We did not have our finances in order to be able to sign someone like Nico Williams, but then we started talking about how we're going to sign Nico Williams. You don't do that. If you want to buy a car, you save up for the car, then you show up to the dealership and you buy the car. You don't say, hey, I'm going to buy the car, and you don't have a single cent in your pocket. And you definitely don't start offering rides to your friends. Hey, man, I'm going to give you a ride tomorrow to school. Hey, you, I'm going to take you to your doctor's appointment. Hey, you, I'm going to take you to go see your mom once I get my car, when you don't have a single penny in your pocket. You don't do that. Same thing with Barcelona. They should have had their finances in order. They should have achieved the 1-on-1 rule. They should have closed the Barca Vision deal. At least, you don't need the Nike deal. You need at least a Barca Vision deal. And then start talking about, hey, guys, we're going to sign Nico Williams. You don't put the cart in front of the horse. But what do I know? All right, let's see. Bubakar says, hello, Mo. How are you? It's me, Bubakar Kante from Gambia. How about Nickelodeon signing? I'll tell you in a little bit, my friend. And Klaus says, I'm hearing that Klopp has retired from football 100% done. Interesting. I have not heard that news, but that would be interesting because we knew Klopp wanted to take a whole year off. It'd be interesting to see if he'd be completely retired. That's pretty interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up. And we have a new member, Clarence Beeks. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. For those of you who are not members yet and would like to become a member, you can become a member. There's different tiers with different benefits, different prices. So Clarence Beeks, welcome to the channel, my friend, and thank you for your membership. And all right, let's get back to the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's get through the news because we do have to talk about Nico Williams because it's reported that the club's hopes to sign the player are currently fading. Now, very important to distinguish. The hopes are fading, but they're not gone. This does not mean that Barcelona think they're not going to be able to sign him. They're just not as optimistic as they were a few days ago. Why? For the reasons that I've explained before. Deco met with Nico Williams' agent. It was a great meeting. The agent told Deco, hey, Nico Williams wants to play in Barcelona. He's dying to play in Barcelona. Deco said, that's awesome. We'd love to have him. This is our offer. 5-year contract, 12 million euros salary gross, so 6 million euros net. From there, during that meeting, Nico Williams' agent requested 2 things. First of all, he communicated to Deco that Nico Williams did not want to wait until the final day of the market. He wanted to finalize his transfer to Barcelona before he had to be called up to the preseason with Atletico Madrid, which we know that is August 12th. The second request that Nico Williams had was guarantees that Barcelona could register him. And that's where the big problem lies. Barcelona, the only guarantees that Barcelona gave Nico was their word. Trust me, bro, we got you. We're going to register you. That's the only guarantee Barcelona could give him. They could not give him any paperwork. They could not show him that the Barca Vision deal was done. They could not show him that the Nike deal was done. They could not show him they had achieved the one-to-one rule. They could not show him that they had clear space on their wage bill. Nothing. It was just, hey, bro, I got you. Don't worry. Which, of course, in the world of football, in the world of business, that's not enough. If I agree to sell you the car, I can't be like, dude, just give me the money. I got you. Trust me. I'll give you my car. No. You're going to put that in contract. We're going to put that in writing. And then I'm going to give you the car. So, given that, that's why the doubts have emerged as far as Nico wanting to come to Barcelona. It's not a matter whether he wants to play in Barcelona or not. Nico is dying to come. The problem is he's not going to leave his current club just to come to Barcelona, and then Barcelona be like, sorry, bro, we can't register you. He's not going to do it. Now, given all of this, to put it that now Barcelona's hopes to sign Nico are fading a little bit. They're still hopeful. They still think they can complete this because Nico, the last time they spoke to Nico, Nico said, I want to come to your club. Since then, they haven't heard anything. So since they haven't heard anything to the contrary, Barcelona are still hopeful they can sign Nico. But they are seeing that the Barca Vision deal is taking longer than expected. The Nike deal is taking a lot longer than expected. And as such, doubts are starting to creep up. Can we finalize any of these deals before August 12th? Because that's what the deadline is. It's not guaranteed. Excuse me. Not guaranteed. It's not for sure. So therefore, Barcelona's hopes are starting to decrease when it comes to signing Nico Williams. It's reported that the club want to start lowering everybody's expectations because now they're not as sure as they were before that they're going to be able to sign Nico Williams. They're not giving up on it. They're not ruling it out. They're not saying it's not going to happen. They're just not as hopeful as they used to be. All right, let's do more comments. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Young Braveheart says, I just want the club to be healthier. This financial situation killing us, man. I agree 100%. Rod says, Laporta told us we will for sure sign Messi 2 to 3 years ago. Didn't sign Messi. Told us we can and will sign Nico, and we might not. I understand the situation, but gotta watch what you say. Worded. I agree 100% with you. I think with the Messi situation, Laporta gets a little bit of leeway because when Laporta came to the club, he was given, his paperwork from the previous presidents. They're like, hey, here's the accounts, here's the paperwork, everything. He looked at it. He's like, all right, it looks good. It looks like we can renew Messi. So he came out and said, hey, guys, we can renew Messi because he thought we could. But then Barcelona hired an auditing company. This auditing company went through everything, every single financial statement, every single account, every single receipt, every single expenditure the club had done for the past, I think it was like 10 or 15 years. It took months to complete this audit. And that's when they came up and said, hold on a minute. What Bartomeu had told you of the situation of the club is not true. You guys are actually pretty broke, And on top of that, La Liga turns around and says, you guys can't sign him. No way. There's no money. So I think with Messi's situation, he gets a little bit leeway because Bartomeu had falsified or had given a false appearance of what the club's financial state was. And it wasn't until Laporta won the presidency, hired that accounting firm, and went through months of auditing that until they found out that, Bartomeu was actually lying to everybody. The club's financial situation was way worse. So in that, I think he gets the leeway. In the case of Nico, absolutely not. I think Barcelona should have first secured their finances before saying, hey, we're going to sign Nico. You can't do that. You cannot put the cart in front of the horse. So I agree 100% with you when it comes to Nico. Carlos says, so if that's the problem with Nico, how are we trying to sign Olmo? Wouldn't there be a worry we wouldn't be able to register him too? There is. The difference is Olmo is dying to come. Olmo just wants to come to Barcelona. He wants to get out of Leipzig. He doesn't care about deadlines. He doesn't care about having to show up to the preseason and then leaving. With Nico, it's a lot bigger rush because Nico has a deadline of August 12th, which is only in 12 days. You sign me by now or you can't sign me at all. Almost like, bro, take your time. Sign me whenever. I want to come. That's the difference. But I still think it's a stupid move. And they shouldn't sign him. And we have another donation. Maybe it's comeback says, can't blame Nico if they did Messi dirty. Again, Barcelona did not do Messi dirty. Simply, La Liga straight up called Laporta and said, you're not signing this guy. And there's nothing you can do about it. So it was a financial situation thing. Bartomeu ran this club to the ground. He brought us to the verge of bankruptcy. And there was just no way of signing Messi. So it's not about doing Messi dirty. Simply, there was no money. If you don't pay your rent for several months and you get evicted, your landlord is not doing you dirty. You didn't pay your rent. You should have paid your rent. It's not your landlord's fault. It's your fault. All right, let's see. One last thing. Peter Faith says, is Nike scamming Barca? How would they be scamming Barca? Is it because you mean that the deal is taking longer? If so, no, that's not scamming Barca. That's literally how long deals take. The fact that Barcelona were already announcing that they were going to figure, and I've said this before, a lot of times before, yeah, somehow Barcelona were hopeful they're going to close the deal by May or by June. I kept saying, I was like, how? Because deals like these, deals that are worth hundreds of millions of euros, in this case, probably even over $1 billion of euros, they don't close that fast. These deals take months and months to negotiate, sometimes even years to negotiate, because those contracts are literally thousands of pages, like stacked up high, thousands and thousands of pages, going over every little detail. And I'm telling you this as a lawyer, not as a content creator. These contracts take months to negotiate and months more to be drafted. So the fact that Barcelona somehow thought that they can close this deal in a few weeks, it's pretty laughable, because these kind of deals never close a few weeks. You cannot go into a dealership and buy a car in 10 minutes. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take a few hours. You have to fill out applications, paperwork. They have to run your credit. You have to get approval from the bank for the loan. You have to, go over the term of the loan. You have to sign all the contracts. Then you get your car. Same thing with these deals. They take months to be negotiated. All right, let's finish. One last bit of comment. Jello says, we are handling things horribly. Yes, we have the academy, but in terms of signing anybody this transfer window, we aren't doing things right. Honestly, we just need a left winger. If we can sign a left winger, I think this transfer market would be a success. Because we've shown that we have every position covered pretty much, except the left wing. So I think we need a left winger ASAP. If we can't sign Nico, I think Barcelona should be prioritizing signing another left wing versus wasting their time trying to get Dani Olmo. We have 1 million center midfielders. Why the hell do we need another more? I don't understand what's going on. It's starting to piss me off. Wow. Anyways. All right, that is all for this podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, your donations. I will be uploading a video in a little bit, maybe a couple hours from now. So stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, cars.